Today, we're talking all about how to find your purpose. I have recently started a new business, and along with that, I've started this podcast. And the way I went about planning this and figuring out, actually, this is what I really want to do, is I followed the Ikigai process to determine what will fulfill me. What do I really want to do in this new chapter of my life? Today, I'm going to talk you through that process. I'm going to give you examples from how I did it myself, and hopefully that will help you find your purpose and your passion as well. So what is Ikigai? Ikigai is a Japanese concept. It combines passion, profession, vocation, and mission. Now that might sound a bit complicated, but don't worry, we'll get into it properly in a bit. It's effectively going to help you find that thing that makes you want to get out of bed in the morning, the thing that makes you really, really excited to do whatever it is you are going to do. And the way it works is you effectively take these 4 different categories: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. You have these 4 categories and you put things under them, and you basically just list a whole bunch of things, as many as you can think of. And hopefully what will happen is, over time, you will realize there are some similar things. So maybe that thing that you love, also the world needs that, and maybe there is a way I could be paid for it. And so, yeah, you fill up these 4 columns. Sometimes it's done as like a Venn diagram with 4 circles. And where they overlap, the thing in the middle, that is your Ikigai. That's how you find your purpose. And you can do this in loads of different ways. If you look up Ikigai online, if you just do an image search, you will get the Venn diagram, the 4 circles. And that can be helpful, but I found it hard to write in those. Like, there's no circle big enough for all the ridiculous ideas I had. I did try doing it as a spreadsheet because I adore planning and I love a good spreadsheet. And I put in 4 columns and then just highlighted the cells that overlapped. But then I found, I always need to be on my computer for that. And sometimes it's best when you're thinking about these things to switch off entirely. So what I ended up doing was I got a stack of Post-it notes, just like little mini ones, and I got them in 4 different colours, and I put them next to my desk, and every time I thought of something, I would write it and I would stick it on the wall. And I had a colour for each different category. And by doing that, it meant I could randomly add to it as and when I wanted to. And I could see sort of colourful areas. It also meant I could easily group them as well, because you can just pick up a Post-it and stick a few together. So go about it in whatever way works for you. Use your own creativity on this. If you just want to do sheets of paper and just put them down on a table and just sketch things, do whatever it is you want to do. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at these 4 categories, and I'm going to talk you through my process for each of them, what they mean, give you some prompts to help, and I'll give you some examples as well, just to help you get started, because there's nothing worse than a blank sheet of paper. It's really hard to get started. As we go through these, I don't want you to feel pressured to get all the answers right now. It took me months to come up with this, months, and I would keep changing my mind again. But what if? Maybe I should do this instead. Maybe I should do that. Give yourself time, as much time as you can. And also know that this doesn't have to be your final version. What you do today, what you do now, what you do in the next week, that might just be this current chapter of your life. And if you find you want to enter a different chapter later on, you just repeat the process. You do it again, and you see what things are still in your columns, and you remove the things that no longer align with you. Okay, so introductions out the way. Let's dig in to those 4 different areas. And we're going to start with number 1, the easy one, the things that you love. So for this one, I want you to think about, what are the things you're really, really passionate about? You should be writing down all the things that excite you. And it doesn't just have to be work things. Please remember that life is about more than just what you do during paid hours. So write down all the things that you love, that bring you happiness, that fill your cup, that make you feel happy. Try and think about the things that you could happily do for multiple hours, or you could do it for a full weekend or a full week, and you think, that just sounds perfect. I would absolutely love that. So I'm going to give you some examples, and I've made notes of a few from the broader creative industries. So it could be games, could be art, could be writing. I just want to give you a few as a prompt so that maybe you can have one thing just to note down on that paper. So do you love creating immersive worlds and stories? Do you love writing? Maybe that's a game, a book, a podcast, a blog. Do you love making people laugh or cry? Do you love collaborating with other creative people? Do you love being indoors at a desk Monday to Friday? Do you really enjoy that? Or would you much rather be outdoors? In the world of remote work and things going hybrid and more people going back to the office, think about, do you really actually like working from home? Do you enjoy the freedom that it gives, or do you miss working in office? Would you prefer to be hybrid? Think about the work setup that would make you happiest. Do you love meeting new people? Do you actually enjoy networking? Do you like going out to random events? Or do you prefer solitude? Would you much rather be at home alone? This one for me was a really interesting one because I always used to think of myself as a complete introvert. I used to be really, really shy when I was younger. But as I've embraced who I am and stopped people pleasing and become more authentic and establishing boundaries, I have learned that it's not that I used to dislike those events. It was just that I wasn't being me. And so I found them exhausting because I was wearing a mask. And so when you're thinking about these things that you love, think about, if you're not sure why you like them, just try and think about why that might be, because it might be that there is a way you would enjoy it and you would actually find fulfillment doing it. You've just got to sort of dip your toe in and try. And I promise you, if you try some things that you're a little bit afraid of, you might actually end up really loving it, because that's what happened with me with networking and public speaking and things like that. A few more prompts for things you might love. Do you love being online? Do you absolutely love social media, Discord, Instagram, TikTok? Or do you avoid it at all costs? What hobbies or interests make you happy? And if you could do literally anything and receive the same salary, say, let's go for a ridiculous salary, £1 million a year. If you could be paid that exact same salary, all jobs paid the same, what would you do? Try and find what that one thing is. So hopefully those prompts help. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some examples from mine. So for me, the biggest one that came up was that I really love helping others. I've got to this point in my career where I've done so many things. I've run so many businesses. I've been in leadership for a long time. And I really enjoy mentoring, coaching, advising people. I like being that wing woman. I like being that person that can just jump in and someone's got an issue and I can be like, hey, I'll help you fix that. I'll help you work through it. So helping people for me was like big capital letters. That was one of the biggest themes that came up for this. The second one, and it is a very close second, is that I absolutely love creating things. And part of that for me is this podcast, right? This is a very creative thing. I get to think about what I'm going to talk about. I get to research the topic of the week and I get to make my notes and I get to sit on camera and record and then I get to edit. And this whole process to me is so fulfilling and so creative. So that is my very high second place. I love freedom, flexibility, and options to do different things. I need to be trying new things, learning, getting out of my comfort zone, trying, maybe failing, because again, that's a great way to learn. And I just like to constantly be trying new things. I'm going to leave you with a final one. The thing that I really, really love, and that I only started doing it in the last year or so, and that is being fully authentic. I am being unapologetically me. We are being weird. We are being gothy. We are being spooky. We talk about vampires too much. We wander around graveyards. I wear black even though it's summer, right? All of these things, I'm being unapologetically me. And I love that. And I never want to apologize for being who I am. I never want to feel like I have to dampen who I am to make others feel more comfortable. And you shouldn't either. I love this. I love being true to myself. And that one is incredibly important. I love just being fully me and people embracing that. And so it was quite scary when I started the company, but I decided to go with the name Goth Boss Studios, and like my social handles on Instagram, Blue Sky, wherever, it's Goth Boss Cat. And now when I go to events, people get it. People get it. I can walk into a room and I can be wearing my stumpy boots and my black dresses and eyeliner and I'm just me. And the thing is, people remember it. They remember the authenticity. When we're in a world where everybody's starting to look the same, like social media, just, I feel like they want you to assimilate. They want everybody to be a cookie cutter. But being authentic, being unapologetically you, is how you will stand out. I want to encourage all of you to do a similar thing. Be who you are. Be unapologetically you, because that is what makes you special. Okay, number 2. So we've got all the things that we love. We've written them down. We've got many post-it notes. Number 2 is, let's look at what we are good at. Now, this one can be really, really hard to do because most people in the creative industry is like, we have so much imposter syndrome. We have so much self-doubt. And it's, I don't know, it just feels like too much ego, right? Maybe that's a British thing. It feels like, ooh, can't possibly say what I'm good at. But you're going to have to. You need to get out of that comfort zone. If it helps, think about what friends have said, what colleagues have said. What did your old manager say? What do people say about you, your work, or what you were like as a person? Dig deep. Be honest. This is not a time to be humble. I want you to champion yourself and think about all the ways that you are absolutely bloody awesome. Okay? So think about the skills you've developed at work, in your personal life. Maybe it's your hobbies. Where do you shine? Where do you really stand up and go, ooh, I know what I'm doing here. When I do this, I feel really good. I feel really confident. What do other people praise you for? As you're going through these, please remember that these are going to change over time. There will be things that you feel confident doing now that you didn't feel confident doing 6 months ago. There will also be things that you did 10 years ago that you go, oh, I should maybe write that down, but I don't feel so confident doing it. I'm not sure. If you have naturally moved away from that thing, maybe don't write it down. We should be think about now. Think about in this moment. We've done what we love in this moment. Now think about what we are good at in this moment. You could also put in the things that you are starting to get good at, right? Because they're the things that we want to hone and refine. So I'm going to give you some examples and hopefully this will give you a starting point. Feel free to write these ones down if they resonate with you. So are you a good listener? Are you really good at art, color theory, drawing, 3D modeling? Are you good at community management? Do you really like talking to people? Are you really good at getting people hyped? Are you really good at marketing? Social media? Are you good at writing a press release? Do you know how to make a bloody good TikTok that is going to go viral? If you're on the more tech side, are you really good at picking up new languages? Are you really good at learning a new game engine? Are you good at designing systems? Can you balance mechanics or requirements? Maybe you can take a really broad concept and break it down into these are the exact things we need to do. Are you good at writing really compelling dialogue or scripts? Are you really good at accessibility? And that could be digitally or it could be physically. Are you a good leader? Do people rally around you? Does your team love you? Are you a good public speaker? And if you feel like, maybe, but I don't know, I get a bit nervous, that's probably a hint that you do. It's just that you're scared and you need to boost your confidence in it. To try to ignore the imposter syndrome and just think about what other people will say. And do you want to get better at that thing? Because public speaking, I know, is one that is scary to so many people. And the more you do it, the more you put yourself out there, the easier it gets. Are you good at being organized? Do you like planning things? Do you love a spreadsheet? Do you love a Trello, a Jira, whatever else? Do you really, really enjoy that? And it might be that you don't do that at work, but are you always that person that plans things and schedules things? If you're going away with your friend, are you the one that's looking at, right, these are the train times, this is the hotel we're booking, these are the places we can go for lunch? If you do, maybe planning is your thing. So when you're thinking about the things you're good at, think about what you are good at in your current job, your past jobs, the skills you are currently picking up that you want to hone and refine, or that you think you might be good at, you're just maybe a bit shy, nervous, have a bit of fear around it, and write them all down. Again, it just doesn't mean we're going to do all of them. Just write them all down, and then we will see where they match with the other columns. So I know how hard this is, right? To say what you are good at. When I did this, it made me so damn uncomfortable because I don't want to be that ego person, right? I don't like it. But being honest about what you're good at doesn't make you an egotistical asshole. Like, it just means you know your worth, you know your value, right? And if you listen to the imposter syndrome episode, knowing your worth, knowing your value, and championing yourself is really, really difficult. So hopefully going through this process will help you with that. And it can be really, really bloody difficult to write them down, to say them, to admit to them, because we're sort of told not to do that. But please champion yourself. Please think about all those things you're good at. Write them down and go, yeah, do you know what? I am really good at that thing. Be your biggest champion. Have that confidence in yourself, and that will help you with any self-doubt, any imposter syndrome. It is okay to be your own biggest fan. Okay, so number 3 in our little Ikigai Venn diagram is what the world needs. Now, this one, honestly, I struggled with it. And the reason I struggled with it is because there are so many things the world needs, right? We need peace. We need less wars. We need less politicians being assholes. We need to stop stripping rights from people. There are so many things that the world needs, but we can't all fix all of these things, right? So feel free to write down those things, but try and think about things the world needs that maybe you can help with, because otherwise you might feel stifled on this one. What can you do, or what can you contribute to that will benefit others? These things are often more socially meaningful rather than financially rewarding. Is there something missing in your industry or in an adjacent industry where you think, oh, it would be great if more people had that? So as always, I'm going to give you some general examples that I came up with for the games and creative industries, and hopefully these will be a good starting point for you. And I've tried to make them as tangible as I can. So the world needs more games and interactive experiences that explore mental health, identity, empathy. We need more creative ways to educate and teach people, whether that's, as much as I hate the word gamification, whether it's like gamifying training materials to make them more engaging for people. We need more ways to make learning fun and playful, especially as the world is changing, attention spans are changing. We need more meaningful representation and diversity in all industries. We need to stop stripping those rights. We need to champion people of all different backgrounds and identities, because the more diverse your team is, the more diverse contributors are to various projects. It shows people that it's okay to be them and that they are accepted and that they are welcome, they are lovable. We need more accessible design, both digitally and physically. We need to foster more connection and more community. These days, everything's gone so digital and it's all online, which is great. It helps you maintain close contact with those friends that live far away. But what about locally? Do you actually see people face to face? Do we have that community? Do you have friends locally who you can go and hang out with? I think we definitely need more of that. We lost a lot of that during the pandemic and when everything went online, and I feel like we've not really got back to how things were. We need more tools for aspiring creators to build their own work. We need them to be as cheap as possible, ideally free. We need to find ways to help people that have that creative brain, that creative vision. We need to find ways to help them create their work. We need more art that challenges harmful norms, that expands the imagination, helps people think differently. We need more experiences for people that bring joy, that bring relief, that bring inspiration, that don't have to be monetized, that don't have to be stressful. We need more joy in our lives. So those are things that I come up with broadly that hopefully will help. Maybe one of them will resonate with you and you can write it down. For me, when I did this, as I say, I started out thinking about all the big global issues, but what I ended up doing was refining it back to things that I could do, things that I could help influence in some positive way. So for me, the top ones were the world needs more human-made creativity and art. In a world where we are getting more and more AI and processes becoming automated, I feel like we're automating a lot of the wrong things. We should be automating the boring admin, the chores, the shit people really don't want to do. And us as people should be the ones writing, creating, making art, because that human input, that emotion, the experience that people put into that art, that can't be replicated by a machine. A machine might make a pretty image, but that's not art. Art needs human input. My second one is that we need a way for more people to earn a living doing the thing that they love. Because quite often so many people get into a job and they're in the rat race and they go, oh, I really don't enjoy it. And before you know it, you've spent your whole life doing something that doesn't fulfill you. And that's a real shame. You only get one chance to do life. And so to me, it's incredibly important that people are able to do the thing that brings them joy, that fulfills them. And hopefully this episode helps more of you get to that point. We need more authenticity, more vulnerability. Because again, people are scared to be themselves. We all think we need to be just like everybody else. And that makes the world kind of a dull place. I want to see people who are quirky, unique, who don't have the shield up, who aren't masking. I want to see real people. Let's be honest. Let's be true to who we are. If it's messy, if things aren't perfect, that's great. Because again, with this world of AI, everything's so flippin' perfect, right? And we've lost the personality, we've lost the meaning in things. So to me, it's really important, not just that we have it, but that we bring it back and we hold on to it tight. Because the world is changing and I'm really worried we're going to lose a lot of this authenticity and vulnerability. And my final one that I thought really resonated with me was that there should be more help and advice that is free. And the reason for this is often people leave school, university, and, you know, they are working a job and they're so busy and they don't have money to get help or support. But the more we can help encourage people, that helps the local ecosystem, right? The more people start businesses locally, the more they're going to employ other people, the more that they're going to contribute to that local economy. It is so important to help people in those early steps. And so for me, that's where this podcast came about, because I do coaching, I do consultancy, but not everybody can afford that, right? So I was trying to think, how can I help people and provide something that is free to as many people as possible, that hopefully scales, that many people can come back to later. And so that was how I ended up with this podcast. And honestly, this is actually my favorite thing that I do now. I find it so fulfilling. I really love doing it. So think about those things that the world needs. Think about the things that you can help, the things that you can contribute to, the things that you can do based on what you love and what you're good at. Try and find those things where you can make a difference, because a lot about finding your purpose and being fulfilled comes back to, are you contributing? Are you helping others? Are you making a difference? Are you making a positive impact on the world? And so the final point in the Ikigai process, number 4, is what can you be paid for? Now, I'm going to heavily caveat this one, because there might be people whose purpose, their passion in life is to raise their children, to give them the best childhood they can. And because of that, they work a job that might not be their passion, their purpose, but the job simply funds a really good life for them and their children. So your purpose doesn't necessarily have to be monetized. And if you're going through this and you think, do you know what, actually, I just want a 9 to 5 that I can do and I can switch off at the end of the day, and I want my purpose, my fulfilling thing to be outside of work, good for you. Good for you. Perfect. Don't worry about doing this 4th list. However, if you are like me and you are creative and you are so passionate about your work and what you do day to day really matters, then let's see if we can dig in and figure out how you can get paid to do what you love, what you're good at, and what the world needs. So the first step in this is think about what the industry or adjacent industries are willing to pay you to do. If you're working now, what do people come to you for? And is there a way you can expand on that? Are there ways that they might pay you in the future that you've just not tried yet? So it can be really tricky to think of all these things. And I'm going to give you some examples, and they're just starting points, right? Again, from broad games and creative. You could get paid to do freelance illustration, animation, graphic design. You can get paid to do game design or development roles at studios. You could do that full-time. You could be freelance. You could run a consultancy. You could get paid to write for games, for comics, for TV, for film. You could be a ghostwriter for other people. You can get paid to do voiceover, and I've seen people do voice acting before, and it is so, so cool to watch them do it. Maybe you are very animated and you are a good actor. You could also look at motion capture work. You can get paid to lead the creative direction or lead teams making projects. You don't necessarily have to be hands-on in the middle. You can come in as that leadership, directorial role. You can get paid to make content for social media, for newsletters. You can get paid to sell digital assets. And this one is often a great starting point for people to get a little bit of extra cash coming in, especially when you're first starting out, because it scales, right? You build it once, you can sell it infinite amounts of times. So if you're an artist, brushes packs, sprites, graphic designers, what about some templates? Perhaps it's a guide to branding. Perhaps it's, in my case, it could be a guide to how to start a creative business, determine your target audience. How do you go about it? You can create any sort of digital asset and sell it online. It helps if you have the audience for it, of course, but over time, people will find you if you keep putting yourself out there. You can earn money teaching, whether that is a workshop for a local organization, whether it's at a university, whether it's at a school, whether it's going into companies and running workshops for them. You could find private clients. It doesn't always have to be corporates and studios. There might be individuals that really love your work and they're willing to commission you to make something for that, whether that's art, whether it's music, whether it's writing. And you could consult in any topic, whatever your speciality is, in whatever industry. Consultancy is a great way to keep things interesting and try different things. And it means you can flex and grow over time as well. So hopefully there's a few there that will resonate with you. And again, just give you something to put on that blank sheet of paper. For me, I locked in on a few different ones here, and I'm trying all of them all at once because, again, I like diversity, and it sort of hedges your bets a little bit, especially when you run a small business, because you can't guarantee when the next freelance contract's coming in. So I try to have a few different things on the go that will help me ensure that I'm going to be making enough money to tide me over. So the ways you can get paid for things are very broad. There are a million different options, right? Write them all down and sort of do as I did, come up with like 4 or 5. And it might be you go, actually, I don't want 4 or 5, I just want a full-time job, but I want it doing this particular thing. Grand, because then you just need one, right? But if you're like me and you are creative and you like to try many different things, write down as many options as you can. So at this point, whether you've started it as we're going through this, whether you're going to come back to it later, you'll end up with at least 3 pieces of paper, columns, coloured post-its for what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and optionally, number 4, what you can be paid for. What you're going to do is you are going to take all those things and either get a highlighter or grab the post-it notes and group them together, but find the overlaps, find those common themes. And when you do that, you're going to start refining and you're going to lock in on a bit more of what your purpose is going to be and what will fulfill you. And again, that might change over time. It doesn't need to be perfect. It took me months to figure this out, and I'm still honing it and refining it now. And you might be wondering, like, this is all well and good, but it's a lot of effort, and why does it really matter? It's important you find your purpose and do something that fulfills you. Not only will it make your life more enjoyable, it'll help prevent burnout. Doing this process will help you fight imposter syndrome. It will help you find your self-worth. It will make you feel like you are contributing to something bigger. If you care about leaving a positive impact or a mark on the world, it will help you do that as well. By doing this, it's going to make your life so much easier because you're not going to be thinking about every possible option of all the things you could do. It gives you permission to rule out the things you don't enjoy and focus on the things that you really love. And when you do something that you really love, you're going to do it with more enthusiasm, more energy. You're going to get better at it much faster than all those other things that you say you want to do, but you really don't. You're going to find that you will meet your tribe, you will meet your people, and you will want to get up every day and you'll be excited to go. Now, I mentioned about number 4 with like the money side of things and getting paid for it. I just want to touch on whether or not you should monetize your purpose and your passion or not. It's really tricky because the answer to this, for me, depends on where you are in your personal growth journey. And the reason I say that is because one of the things that I really love doing is creating digital fine art. And I did that using my own photographs, combined them in Photoshop, many, many layers. I did so much tweaking and refinement and color balance, and I adored it. And my images were very ethereal, very fantasy, very gothic, because that is who I am. That is what I love. And so I started making these, and I created limited edition prints. I put them out into the world, and I exhibited them at loads of really cool places, including the Royal Scottish Academy. Like, incredible experience to be able to do that, and people really resonated with the work. However, getting established in art, as I'm sure many people listening to this will know, is really, really difficult, and it's hard to make a sustainable living from that one thing. But I really loved being outdoors, loved being outside with my camera, and I thought, oh, how do I monetize this? And so I thought, right, we can do photography workshops, we can teach people. I do enjoy that. I love helping people. So I started running photography workshops, and they were great. But the way to sell photography workshops for me was to show, oh, I can do broader things. And so I started doing more landscape, more photos of castles, more wildlife. And again, I really enjoyed that, but it didn't give me the creative buzz that I got from other things. And so I started to do more and more of that because that's what resonated with the clients doing the workshops. And what I realized was that over time, I wasn't doing the thing that I really loved, which was the gothic, ethereal fantasy art, because it didn't resonate with that other audience, and I lost what I was doing. And the passion for photography sort of dried up for a bit. It's come back. Like I enjoy it now, but I stopped monetizing it for that reason. Now, when I was doing the gothic art, I found that I was still people pleasing. And I was much younger, and I cared more about what other people thought than what was right for me. And I hadn't done Ikigai, right? I didn't know that I really resonated with creative gothic things. And so I people pleased, and I ended up doing the wrong thing. The reason I tell you that story is when you're thinking about whether or not you should monetize your passion, what I don't want you to do is to be completely steered away from the thing that brought you in the first place. Please don't lose your passion because you're trying to monetize it. If you do want to monetize it, just stay true to who you are. Please don't people please or bend or do the wrong thing, because I don't want you to lose your passion. I don't want you to lose your hobby and the thing that you love. And sometimes, as I've said before, it's okay just to have a 9-to-5 that pays the bills so your passion can be separate. Or maybe you're like me and you're forever looking for the way to monetize the things that you do and that you enjoy. And that's where this process helps. So yeah, it's entirely up to you whether or not you want to monetize the thing. Just if you are going to monetize it, do it in the right way. Okay, so that is my big overview of Ikigai. This is going to end up being a much longer episode than previous ones, but I think it's important to dive into it properly. I'm going to leave you with some questions, some prompts, so that you can come back to this point and hopefully it will get your creative juices flowing to think about what your purpose is. So how do you explore Ikigai? Think about what energizes you, what makes you glow. Think about what drains you. You can optionally add a 5th category to our little Venn diagram, keep it to the side and be like, nope, and make it your nope list. Because if there is something you really don't enjoy, it can sometimes help to remove that option. It stops the analysis paralysis of too many possibilities. So think about what drains you, what you don't like, what burns you out. And maybe keep that as a separate list so you know not to focus on them or not to people please and go back to them. Think about what do people ask you for help with. Think about the thing that feels fun or like play or that you just really love doing that other people really hate. What could you talk about endlessly? Think about that thing where if you could talk about it to anybody or help them with it, what would it be? And if you're, after all of this, you go, I've got a million different things I really don't know, try some creative experiments, take the pressure off and maybe go, do you know what? For half an hour, I'm going to sketch something. For half an hour, I'm going to record a video on my phone. For half an hour, I'm going to read a book or listen to a podcast on a topic. Keep it really low pressure and go, did I actually really enjoy that? Do I want to do that again? And if you do, write it down, goes in your list as a potential. And again, don't feel like it has to be a final list. You can add, remove, take things away. You can keep redoing it for the rest of your life. All right. That's all for today. I really hope that helps you find your purpose. This process has helped me so much this year. I feel like it's changed my world and I feel so much happier and I absolutely adore what I do. And so I hope it does the same for you. Please remember your purpose and passion doesn't have to be one thing. As you go through life, as things flex and change, this is going to shift. It's going to evolve. You might have multiple. The most important thing is to stay curious, to stay playful, and don't feel trapped doing something just because it's what you've always done. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode. If you found this helpful, please do drop me a comment. I love seeing your comments. You could also contact me at gothboss.co.uk/podcast if you've got anything you'd like me to read out or say in a future episode. If you think this might help a friend, if you know a friend who's going through redundancy, struggling with what to do next, should they get a new job? Do they want to start a business? Please do share this with them and I hope it helps them find their purpose and to find something that's really fulfilling for them. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a lovely day and I will see you next time. Bye.